Yo, 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 what's up, cycling fanatics? Today was my first race with the elite. Sometimes there's a combination, elite and amateurs. So normally I race amateurs and this was elite and amateurs together. The first part, the tempo was really high. Because it was my first elite race, I was not trying to be in front too much. So I tried to stay in the back, but it was all single file. And somewhere I missed the breakaway. 5 guys formed the break. We got away from the peloton, but I did shoot the whole race. And I finally figured out how to put the data of my power meter in the video. So I'm gonna show you the race with the power data. And I can already tell you, this race is all about a lot of power. So then, me and another guy, Chris, we went for a 2-man operation to try to catch the breakaway, but that didn't happen. But we did manage to stay away from the peloton. So after all, I got 6th, he got 7th. 6th place, first race in elite. I guess it's okay, but I'm really disappointed that I didn't get to ride in the lead group, because at some point me and Chris were doing about the same speed, or we were actually catching up with the breakaway, and you know, we were with only 2 guys, they were at 6 or 5. So we were really pushing hard. Alright, let's have a look at this race footage. As usual, you can see my speed on the left, RPMs just below that, and then heartbeat, the total distance, and the map layout is on the top right. And I've got the power data right now on the video. So in the top bar you can see the power, and also just next to the speed indicator you can, at the top, you can have a look at the power data. I'm gonna show you the first lap. This is the race in elite men, so it's a combination with amateurs and elite. And for me this was the first time I was racing elite in the Netherlands, and I didn't know what to expect, so I decided to stay back a little bit and first have a look on how the speed was and how fast everything was going. This is the first lap. I'm going to show you the whole lap so you can see the course. This part of the course was all downhill. So from the start it was flat, and then this is all down. As you can see, we're not pedaling and we're going 52 kilometers an hour. Some speed bumps in the road, and then this was a tricky corner, speed bump, 90 degrees to the right, another speed bump, and then big acceleration. You can see 1100 watts just pushing to stay in the wheel of the guy in front of me. So in elite, the accelerations after the turns are fast, are hard. Another speed bump with a nasty ridge just behind that bump. This part of the track was uphill a bit, coming through a sharp left-hand turn right now. And then this was all uphill to the finish. As you can see again, 700, 800, 900 watts to push just to stay in the wheel of the guy in front of me. This is the last little part to the finish. 1 lap is about 1.5 kilometers. And this race was a 70-kilometer race. And that's 1 lap. Alright, just in the beginning of the race, and this happens. A crash, bunch of guys flying over the top, and a whole lot of people got affected by this crash. The rules are that if you're affected by a crash, you can go to the start finish and you get 1 lap for free, so we can rejoin the group. So right now we're rejoining. And you can see it's only in the beginning of the race because we only had 4.5 kilometers on the clock. So here everything is going up to speed again, and again you can see those power numbers for the acceleration. Every time it's like 500, 600, 700 watts. Here we're going uphill, and a big gap right in the group. There was a lot of gaps in the race. I don't know exactly why. I think because guys couldn't follow the pace and they had to drop out, and then a big gap appeared. And I was trying to close these gaps because I was trying to stay at least in the front half of the pack, but it cost a lot of energy. Again, big gap, and we're trying to close it right here. Again, 1000 watts to accelerate, I'm rejoining in the first group right now, which was still a large part of the peloton. Going uphill, had to push hard, and then on the downhills, this is the downhills, we're just not moving the legs and already going really fast. Again, another gap appeared, and I was trying to close it. This was 20 kilometers into the race, so there was a lead group already in the front. The guy in front of me here crashes. Boom! I react to it by braking. My rear tire skidded, so the rear end slides out. I almost crashed, but I stayed on the bike, luckily. I managed to rejoin in the first group, and then continue the race. Here you can see the speed is very low. This is a downhill section. Normally we would do like 45 to over 50 kilometers an hour, and this is because guys are blocking the peloton. There's a breakaway group right now of 5 riders, and there's a couple teammates of them just sitting back and taking out the speed of the peloton. So it was really hard to close this gap. Up until this point, we're 43 kilometers into the race. The guy in blue here is pushing hard. Chris, he was pushing hard, so I knew he was willing to put an effort. I tried to ride away from the peloton a couple times, but every time other guys joined and they didn't want to pull, they only want to block. But Chris was really pushing hard, so I knew he was willing to go fast. So I take over and I just push hard on the downhill, as you can see. Downhill 50 kilometers an hour. Unfortunately, we get caught up again by the peloton. These guys really did not want us to break away. Anyway, I just kept pushing hard because I wanted to keep the speed up, because I was still thinking about riding up to that breakaway. Again, here you can see a guy taking over, and he just does nothing. He is pedaling, but he's not pushing any power, so he's taking out the speed. Here again, downhill section, guys are taking out the speed, so it's really difficult to close that gap when there's guys blocking all the time. Again, Chris goes for it, and I just followed him again. I figured if it didn't happen the first time, maybe it would the second, so pushing hard again, taking over, and this time it sticked. Nobody was following us, and we managed to get a gap on the peloton. So right now we're riding in between the breakaway and the peloton. You can see the car in blue in the front over there, which for me was a good sign. It means that we were in the front of the entire group. So here we're pushing hard, 50 kilometers on the clock. So the last 20k was on us. We had to do it just by the two of us, and we had about between 1 minute and 40 seconds of a gap with the breakaway. Right here we were communicating about how long it is, and I saw 10 laps on the clock, which was still pretty far. 62 kilometers into the race, we're almost there, a couple laps to go, and as we were approaching the end, Chris was getting really tired, me too of course, but I was doing most of the work. Here you can see the other riders of the peloton. They were taking out of the race because they already finished, and here we come in for our last lap of the race. And we already agreed that I was going to take 6th place and he was going to go for 7th, since I did most of the work. He did a great job. He was the guy that initiated the jump anyway, so very good on you, Chris. And this is going to be the last section up to the finish. I figured it's only us riding, but I still wanted to finish strong, so I just pushed hard to the finish and to get my 6th place. Last straightaway, uphill again. And I look back, and Chris just let it roll. He was happy with 7, and I could take 6th place over here. Pretty good for a first race in Elite. It was a very hard race, and I was really tired after this. We came back from Mallorca yesterday. By now you've seen the footage of Mallorca. It was an amazing trip, awesome cycling. We spent a lot of time together chilling, and wineries and food and whatever, so it was a really good trip. Back-to-back racing last weekend and here this weekend. So now it's time for a little recovery. Thursday I'm going to Belgium for the Klim Classic, which is a tour ride through Belgium with awesome climbs. I'm gonna vlog that ride too, so that's coming up. See ya! helemaal gemist in de kopgroep, jongen. Godverdomme.
Ja, zoals wij reden hadden we
Ja, hadden we makkelijk bij gekund. Op het tempo reed gewoon we kwamen zelf dichterbij op een gegeven moment.
bij de kopgroep.
Ja, het was 1 minuut en op een gegeven moment was het nog maar 40 seconden. Godverdomme. Dat is de finish, denk ik.